It's time to relax. You know what that means. A glass of wine, your favorite easy chair, and of course, this
The Shay and Wilson Show.
playing on your home stereo. So go on and indulge yourself. That's right. Kick off your shoes, put your feet up, lean back, and just enjoy the melodies. After all,
Podcast.
soothes even the savage beast.
It's pretty much like Cruel and Unusual Torture.
Huh?
All right, no one chime in. That's cool. Whatever. Fuck.
I'm sorry. I know, it's like, what?
I had no idea what was going on.
Man, I was just trying to do a creative lead-in, but fuck it. We'll just do this same old lead-in as always.
I'll lead in.
All right.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Shay and Wilson Show. I'm Wilson, this is Shay, and you're in that weird part of the internet again.
Welcome to 4chan.
Welcome to 4chan, circa 2004.
We're going to introduce our guest, Wilson.
Yes, today we have again with us Timely, Kyle, and as a special guest, because the others are not that special anymore, we have Susie, as we call her, who is our, resident actual Japanese girl. Girl, even.
Flash another picture of panties on the screen.
Yes.
Say hi, Susie.
Hi.
Now, Susie,
Such a vigor.
keep it seductive, okay? Because we have really hyped up this voice.
That's not my fault.
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
there it is.
Shay can just do his impression of me, and you guys can settle for that.
Well, that works.
Oh
that
my
works
God.
in a pinch. That works in a pinch, if I keep my eyes closed and stuff. But
It's like, when you hold each other's things and you move each other's elbows, so it feels like someone else is doing it.
yeah.
We don't actually touch each other's wang, so like it's not gay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Do you want to explain the format of our show, Wilson, for our new guest?
No. She's definitely been listening to every episode. Everyone knows the format by now.
Susie, would you like to introduce our format to the listeners?
You talk about something for 10 minutes.
Fuck, I feel famous.
Yeah, more or less. But yeah, oh my God, our format is known. It's a thing now.
I'm famous.
It's a thing now.
Not to mention the pre-jack, which means if you get sick of a topic or you just want to rile someone up, you tell them pre-jack, and then we have 30 seconds to finish up that topic.
Right, and everybody here has one pre-jack card per episode. So Suzu, you got a pre-jack card that you can play on anybody at any time. Special announcement, we now have a SoundCloud.
Yes.
And Wilson was kind enough to upgrade us to the super professional version of it. So any of you who are waiting for our videos on YouTube's like chumps, I'm just kidding, keep subscribing and listening. Everything hits the SoundCloud first because it's way easier for me. I'm lazy as shit. I don't like putting a video together and shit like that. It takes way too long. SoundCloud gets everything first because it's pure audio and whatever else. But, check out both of them because the Let's Plays and shit will be on the other one.
Okay, I guess the first thing I'm going to bring up, I'm just going to throw out top co-op experiences in a video game.
Okay. I like
I
this.
figured this would be a good one. Kind of ties in with some of the stuff we talked about in the last couple episodes. I'm going to throw my two out there, at least that I can think of right now, is Driver, San Francisco. It's pretty new. And Borderlands.
Really, Wilson?
Oh, I love that game.
Yeah, those
Sorry.
would be my two. I had a ton of fun playing split screen co-op on Borderlands with my sister. And Driver is one of those games that, like, no matter who comes over, if conversation gets a little bit boring, you just be like, hey, want to play Driver? And within 5 minutes,
Is that a
everybody's
common
screaming.
problem for you?
Huh?
Is
Well,
that a problem for you?
sometimes you're like, with the in-laws or, just people who you don't know that
You would play
well.
Driver with the in-laws?
Huh?
Really? Has that happened?
Well,
you play Driver
not
with
the
your
in-laws, but okay, the in-laws' fiance. I was like, hey man, we were sitting there and there wasn't much to talk about. I said, let's play Driver. But anyway, the whole point here is, Driver is just a ton of fun. It's easy to pick up. It's got
what worries me though is that none of those games you mentioned is the game that you co-op with me, Wilson.
Well,
What is
you said there. I actually, since you bring it up, I got to be honest. I enjoyed co-oping Diablo 2 with you, but if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't enjoy the game.
Are you serious? Really?
Yeah, I am serious. It seems like all we've done is run around and click things a bunch.
Well, that's the fucking game. However, you're playing the shittiest classes I've ever seen.
No, man. Your class is
I'm gonna be a druid who like summons wind, and then the next time you're like, guys, I'm gonna be a druid who becomes a werewolf and like doesn't have any.
No, that was only
skills at
because
all.
we had to set new characters up. But that being said, you're playing the class in a game where all you do is run around and click. You're playing the run around and click class.
No, dude, you have no idea what I'm doing on my end, sir. I have the smash attack they do to lower their defense and make our attack higher, and the double swing, which mows through the fucking like groups of them like really fast. There's strategies here to being a dual wielding barbarian who just frenzies stuff
I
and
know,
mashes
and I
the
know
right
it's
click button.
probably just the early levels, but I gotta say, it just so far hasn't been all that thrilling.
I mean, okay, that's like saying you're playing Final Fantasy or say Chrono Trigger, and you're like, oh man, level 1, I'm only doing like 6 damage, and why am I fighting like a bunny rabbit? Like, who gives a fuck? It's the beginning of the game. Wait till you get to the actual game.
We played what? Timely, how long have we played on it? An hour or more?
We ended up playing. Well, we started at like 8 o'clock my time, but we didn't actually start playing until 9 o'clock, and I had to go to bed at 10. So we only played for an hour, and
Yeah, well, enough time to
Yeah.
figure out the game mechanics. And my topic here is best co-op experience. And like I said, Driver is awesome within 5 minutes of picking the controllers up. So, whether or not it's the best single player experience, I don't know.
Right.
But
On that topic, actually, for a game that I think like would probably suck on single player, but is like the best fun I've had playing co-op, would be like Resistance 1 for PS3 was a big one. Our Resident Evil 5 was fucking fun as shit on co-op. That was really fun. And another one that I will save for one of my topics, actually, so you can keep going.
okay. So I'll pass this one over to Kyle. What do you got for best co-op?
I was actually going to say Borderlands.
Not the women, Wilson. You're not gonna ask the women about their best co-op experiences, Wilson.
No, I can just back you up on Borderlands. I played it with a couple of my roommates about a year ago. Really good time. We played probably 10 hours straight for a couple of days in a row.
Yeah.
Good
You
stuff.
guys are such radical gamers. 10 hours straight.
Okay, how about you, Tim? All those friends that you have?
Well, I don't.
World of Warcraft, I
won't
guess,
be
would
able to-
count as co-op.
Yeah, well, I play Warcraft most of the time. I played.
Rating and shit.
I actually need to open my Steam. I can't even remember half the game, but I did play Borderlands, and I played another game. Trine 2 is what I enjoyed.
Oh, yes. Trine is really fun. Actually,
Yeah,
with
that's
Trine
what
1
I
and Trine
enjoyed.
2, ever since Trine, like I started playing Trine 1, like I had Trine nights at my house where like literally there'll
Yeah.
be 10 people over in the living room playing Trine. It was freaking amazing. We played Trine 1, powered through it, and got Trine 2 the next day on Steam and powered through that as well because you can do local co-op on that, which is fucking amazing.
That's awesome.
How about you, Susie?
Other than that,
Oh, sorry, were you not done, Tim?
Susie's
no,
actually
we used to play like fighting games. I can't even remember way back when that I enjoyed. I just can't remember names off the top of my head. I'm sorry, and I'm done now.
How about politics in music? What's your opinion on politics in music, Shay?
Oh, you gotta. Ooh, I like this actually.
Yeah.
My favorite band, Age of Generation. Their leader, or I shouldn't leader, but their lead singer guy.
Their captain.
He's kind of sort of taking that role. He thinks himself a John Lennon at this point, I think. He's advocating very strongly for Japan to rid itself of its nuclear program, like completely. He's part of this quote unquote no nukes movement. He's like releasing albums for it, doing live shows to donate to like get money for the cause and all that. And as someone who got his bachelor's degree in nuclear engineering, I can't help but think they're trying to solve an engineering problem with politics. And I think it's just really foolish, but it's all this guy's been on for the last year and a half.
Yeah, well, my opinion on the whole thing is it's like, okay, some bands start off and that's what they are. They're a political band. You know, Rage Against the Machine, you were never going to expect to get anything else. But when a band makes popularity based completely on nothing to do with politics, and then suddenly they start to get a little bit of, backing, and suddenly they develop a political opinion that they're always pushing.
Yeah.
I got a problem with that. I feel like
You have a
it's
problem with
sorta-
someone using their fame to push
Well,
something?
I think what's even worse than that is that, specifically with the band I mentioned, that aspect has come into their music. They now have a song called N2 letter N followed by 2, which is just, it stands for no nukes, and the song itself is about how, nukes are bad and all that.
Yeah. Where it used to be, you may have been into a band for them having similar life experiences, etc., that sort of thing.
No, never.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
okay.
sort of the same here.
Yeah, okay, and you're like, yeah, okay, I can get into this, and then suddenly they're talking to, you see him up, with holding picket signs kind of thing, or telling you who you should vote for in the election, and it's like, I got a feeling that if I was to meet band members, of bands I like, you'd want to feel like they would like get along with you, like the fact that you like their music is something of a connection. But to feel like, but they completely don't agree with me on political views, it sort of mars that for me.
Yeah, well, that's
I don't know. Go ahead.
Like I found myself wondering recently, like I particularly with this issue I was talking about, I very strongly disagree with them in that political aspect, but I was considering, what if they were supporting something that I supported? What if they were supporting the expansion of nuclear energy under better regulation and doing it more in a more safe manner? And would I accept that in their music? And I'm kind of worrying that my answer might be yes, because
that's a good point. That's a good point. Because I've got the same sort of, like, okay, Brother Ali, which is one I've talked to Shay about, and he's a rapper. And he's very, like just recently he got arrested for, disturbing the peace type thing, during some protest. And it's like,
how
he's
punk rock is that?
Sorry?
I said, how punk rock is that? Sorry, I'm just making it a quick.
Yeah, he's a great rapper. And when he's not rapping about that stuff, a lot of times I'm like, oh my God, the talent this guy has and the stuff he thinks of, But then at other times it's like, you feel like you got to quit singing the words along with them, sort of thing, because you're like, no, I really don't agree with that.
Yeah.
To the point you feel like, nah, I can't get into this now.
I've been keeping quiet on this so far, but because I do feel very strongly against that. But with this, stipulation, time's up, whatever, fuck it.
Oh, okay.
I am totally cool with politics being used as a creative springboard for music, just like anything else can be a creative springboard for music. Oh, this fucking spaghetti is amazing. I'll write a song about a spaghetti monster that tentacle rapes schoolgirls, like shit like that. Like, I'm totally down for that. Or like, the idea for the Cockhammer song, whatever. But it does not work the other way around. If you use the music to try to influence politics in some way, that's when I'm like, get the fuck out of your ass, man. Seriously,
yeah.
Like, fucking shit. But yeah, totally. Like, if you're using the politics because it makes like a really powerful song, then fuck yeah, do it. It's cool as shit. Whatever. I'm down for that. Like, American, like that kind of shit. I'm totally down for that.
Yeah.
But don't do it the other way. That's for faggots.
Don't pull a Bono.
That is for faggots. Shay does not approve, so it's true.
All right. What about you, Tim? Do you have opinion one way or the other on this?
I just don't like other people's political views thrust down my throat, so that's just
oh
flat
man,
out.
What do you like thrusting down your throat?
Well, wouldn't you like to
make an
know?
appearance?
All right, here's a question I want to pose to all of you guys. How do you feel about the idea of your privacy and the internet?
Yeah.
It seems like
quote something I'd heard.
There's all this, like, people are always up in arms about their internet privacy. Like, they'll be like, Facebook, blah, 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 gave us Facebook emails. Let's, like, fucking burn a house down or some shit. Like, and, like, the one thing that I see the most lately is, like, on the Android app market, you'll see, like, an app. Every fucking app, you'll see someone or 6 people bitching about the app's permissions. They'll be like, why does this app need access to my phone records? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no one gives a shit about your personal life. They're not going to use this app to hack your fucking life. They do not give a shit what you do in your personal life. Nobody wants to hack you. Get over yourself. Your privacy does not matter.
Now, I know Kyle's going to have something on this.
Yes, Kyle, what would you like to say on that?
I'm formulating my thoughts here.
Okay, well, I'll
for example, social networking is the big thing now, and it's done, it's done great things, it's done shitty things, it's done completely neutral, it's useless things. But why is a digital footprint so important to keep in check? Other than if you think that you are doing something absolutely stupid that you don't want like an employer to see. I can understand that maybe, like, blocking
Yeah, that's
people.
really the only thing I can...
Yeah, but that's why they have privacy settings. You have privacy settings, so then why do you have to worry about anything?
Yeah.
You can block whoever you want to. Like, I mean, shit, I have like set up where like if I don't like add you back, then you can't see my shit.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
I don't know.
I did too.
Like,
Go ahead, Tim.
it's kind of weirdly. I don't know. I don't like a lot of people invading my privacy, like on a real life level, like let alone internet. I'll share what I want to share, and that's
Okay,
the
yeah, I
thing.
understand
Like,
that because I know there's
people
also
have
people who are
to.
more private than others. Like for example, I
Yeah.
like flaunting my shit. Like I whirled my penis into headphones apparently. So and there's people who are like they're maybe more reserved and they don't want like their stuff out there, and I totally understand that. But anyway,
Yeah.
moving on.
But
I did a
the thing
Slenderman
is,
Let's
like,
Play on this. Oh, you're still talking about this. Keep going. Okay.
And Kyle
I'm
hasn't
sorry.
gone either, man.
I
You
just
gotta.
wanted to.
We
No.
have a time limit, guys. I'm moving on. All right, I did a Let's Play of the game Slender. I think it's by Parsec Studios. It's an indie developer. It's a Slenderman horror game, which and I got some nice articles on the people have some buzz around it because Slenderman's the big fucking thing with the hipsters these days. Sorry, Wilson. So I did a Let's Play on it. Check it out. It's really short and to the point. Well, that's not to the point because the game it meanders like fucking forever. But it was a bit of a letdown for me. But it's kind of funny to hear my dialogue because I'm really cool and charming. Next thing's up. Same thing about gaming. Okay, another gaming topic. It seems with games these days, I cannot trust reviews at all. I think I've mentioned this before because I do not give a shit what people think. It seems like everyone wants absolute polish and perfection from their games. Like what happened to the days when the games, like quote unquote, flaws and imperfections were part of its charm and why we loved them. Like
But
old
I
school
don't
games.
think that's really the truth.
That's
Maybe over
absolutely the
time.
truth. No, not over the time even. Like okay, say you play like Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
Because-
That game is impossibly fucking hard. These days, if that game came out, people would call it a broken game. That would be called a broken game. A one that is now hailed as a classic and like a holy grail, it would be called a broken game these days.
For one,
That's what's wrong
for one,
with
games
these
were
fucking
more
lazy ass kids these days.
games were more,
these kids, get off my driveway.
Go,
games were
go
games,
Kyle.
games were more difficult in the past, and it's common knowledge they've gotten easier, and that I think the game industry is now somewhat more aware of this.
So
It's-
now
it's
when like a
meant to-
game comes out that's actually challenging, people panic. Like for example, I have written down right here, Hunted, the Demon's Forge. I fucking love that game. That was a co-op experience I loved playing with my friend.
I think people are waiting for harder games like that. Like Dark Souls came out, and people loved the fact that it was so difficult and so brutal.
Right, I have Demon's Souls down here.
And-
Demon's Souls had really wonky shit going on. Like there were so many mechanics. Like why the fuck do they
Yeah.
do this? But
Yeah,
that was
but-
part of the love for it.
Yeah, but
But
I don't
the,
think that
the market.
I think
Sorry.
that part of today, what I think what you're referring to originally was that, like back in the day when games had bugs and things like that, that you just kind of accepted them because that was how it was. If you wanted to play the game, you are going to have to deal with it. Today, developers are constantly patching and updating their games, so we don't really tolerate that sort of thing. If there's a bug, we can say, hey, this is here, fix it.
Okay, so what about game mechanics that are intentionally that way because it adds that experience to the gameplay? For example, the game Killzone 2 came out. The entire world bitched about the way the controls react to your analog stick because it purposely had like a really weighty kind of feel to it.
Mhm.
Everyone was like, what? This doesn't feel like every other shooter that came out in the past 3 years. What the fuck is this
Well,
shit?
for one, shooter fans are generally speaking retarded, so their opinions don't matter for shit. I think one of the things
That's a good point.
one of the things I was listening to recently was a review of Quantum Conundrum, which is like a first-person platformer. It's being headed by the same girl who came up with the idea for Portal, who left Valve to work on this. But it's a first-person platformer, which when you think about it, it's kind of odd because you won't be able to see what is under your feet or your what would be feet, but they're invisible because it's a first-person game.
Uh-huh.
So I mean that right there is sort of like I don't want to say a broken mechanic, but it seems something that should be addressed in some way. I mean, playing first-person games, especially for a precision platformer like this, where you're landing on small things that you're you're floating up with gravity and things like that, not being able to see where you're going or what you're landing on is a huge problem. It's been a problem for a lot of people. I've heard a lot of feedback that a lot of people don't enjoy the game for that reason.
What if that's the intention of the game, though, is to add that risk factor to it?
It's not so much a risk factor. I mean, it's a complete crapshoot at that point. That's not really a game. That's just
I think people just have so much entitlement these days. Like they're like, what was sorry Wilson, but the Mass Effect 3 ending thing, for example, like, I mean, come on, get over it. It's their fucking game. Like you're just playing it.
I'll agree. The ending, for everything I know about it, seems like a horrible idea. But I'm of the opinion that you just accept it. Accept the fact that Mass Effect was a great series with a crappy ending. And,
Yeah, I mean, like, fuck the ending. Like, I mean, it's not like the story mattered that much. The story
But
was,
what you come
we're
down
doomed.
to though is a
Let's
question
stop
of
it.
promises made.
Promises
promised
made? Who
radically
promised you
different
anything?
endings,
But
and no
can
one
I
got 'em.
say on
Okay,
that?
they did
Yeah,
break
go,
the
Tim.
promise. Okay, sorry.
Sorry, it's the market is a lot bigger these days as well. So they're trying to accommodate to everyone
So,
because they
bigger
want to
market,
satisfy.
narrower product spread.
No, what Timely says is what my point too.
Yeah,
I agree with
it's
her.
a bigger market. Therefore, you're trying to satisfy not just the small handful of people's opinion, but 20, 30, 40 million people. I don't know how
So
many
it's about
people
always
are.
appealing to the lowest common denominator.
Yeah,
every
they're
single
trying
time.
to make
But
it
the thing
broad.
is, Shay, you're actually in the niche. You're the smaller market, the one who wants a brutally difficult game. Most people play games to enjoy themselves, not to have like shut down game over screens every
That's
5
what's
seconds.
enjoyable. If you're going to play a game that is easy, you might as well just like put something on the screen with like a still picture and masturbate to it, because you'll get a high score no matter what the fuck. It's the exact same
That's the
thing.
thing.
You see, I don't play to be.
It's not our fault. Well, it is our fault, but you've got to understand that the people producing these games
Right,
are
they have
trying
to make
make
money.
a decision right now. And what they should be doing is trying to accommodate for the little market now, because there's people like you, and there's not just you in the world. There are more and more people who want the
There's
challenge,
other people with
and
other
they're
opinions.
they are missing that big market, and that's their fault there.
Well, I gotta say though, Shay, I feel like your point's basically made moot with the addition of difficulties.
No, not at all even, because like you'll play games like there's that saying that hard mode is the or what was it, normal mode is the new easy mode or something like that. And like Kyle said, games are easier
Yeah,
these days.
it
Even with
really
high
is.
difficulties, like it'll be something like just bigger pools of health for enemies or something like that. It's not it doesn't come down to mechanics or stuff like that. Which is where
but I mean,
think there's two pools of games now, though. There's two separate pools of games. There's games that are marketed more toward a broad audience, that are games
right, like those
games
AAA
that are
like
easy, games that are made to tell a story. Things like the Uncharted series, Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy. Not particularly difficult. They're story games, really. You could argue that Uncharted is a movie game, but nevertheless. And then there's games that are much harder: Demon Souls, Dark Souls. I Want to Be the Guy. I mean, that game exists for a clear reason.
No, I mean, I think they can and do really supply most audiences these days. It's just you're always going to have the vocal ones who bought the game that really didn't apply to their audience, their demographic.
Yeah, the demographic has changed. It's not the hardcore gamers anymore. Like, they still want to play the games, but they finish the current games too quickly and are not satisfied. Whereas a normal person, I consider myself a normal person. Like, I am not a hardcore gamer.
So
I
you
enjoy
are
games.
satisfied, Timothy.
I am completely satisfied. No, actually, no, I'm not.
I think
There's
the
so
funny
many
thing.
games that.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No,
We're actually coming up on
you
time.
understand my point.
That's fine.
Alright.
This is more or less my last topic, so I want to hear what their opinions are on it.
Yeah. Well, actually, I reckon that both of the things you brought up are worth addressing in the after show. So.
Thank you for listening to this oddly serious episode of the Shay and Wilson Show. We discussed these topics at length in the after show, so be sure to check that out as always. SoundCloud links down below. There's a new song up called Nephilim, which hopefully I'll be adding a bass part to soon, but it sounds pretty cool so far, I think. Also, there's a Bioshock 2 Let's Play Up Part 2. It goes up to the point in the game where you get trap rivets. Commentary is really funny, so it's a good time. Be sure to check that out. As always, leave comments down below, and we may get to them in another episode.